Welcome to our new series about the gates in the human design system. Today, we're going to talk about the gate 55, which is known as spirit in traditional human design or faith in quantum human design. This is a complex, really interesting gate. So please do enjoy these clips from the transit reports that I've been doing over the last few years, which will give you a lot more information, much more in-depth understanding of the gates than you would get just from a description in a book. So if you like the video, please do give it a like, go ahead and subscribe, turn on your notifications, leave a comment if something strikes you. I always love to hear from you. And let's go ahead and dive in. So the gate 55 is known as spirit in traditional human design and faith in quantum human design. Let's unpack what this energy is about, because it really has to do with our faith that we will have what we need when we need to have it. It's a faith in abundance. It's a faith that spirit has our back. It's a faith that we are part of a much larger cosmos, of a much larger world, and that we can receive what we need when we need to receive it. It's like the story of manna, right? Where the Jews received what they needed for that day. And it was not about accumulating. It was about saying, I have what I need for today. I have the nourishment I need for today. And it takes a certain amount of faith to be able to live that way and not freak out, especially given that in Western culture, there's so much emphasis on accumulation, right? Accumulating, getting ahead, which is really tricky because there's so much debt, right? So what we want to be able to do is to kind of relax. And this is what the earth is inviting us to do, right? If you think of the earth as a consciousness, because it is, and so is the sun, is a massive consciousness. And the earth is Gaia, right? It is a consciousness that has been creating life for us for billions of years. And we as human beings are kind of the new kids on the block, actually. You know, the plants have been here a lot longer than we have, and bacteria has been here a lot longer than plants. And we're an outgrowth of this incredible synergy and dynamic exploration and creativity of the bacterial world, which eventually created the plant world. And then eventually we got the animal world, and then we got the human world. So we're kind of the new kids on the block, really. And we're an outgrowth of all of that early development. And when we can remember that the earth provides everything for us that we need, it really does. We get locked into this sense of scarcity, that we don't have what we need, that we're not going to have what we need, and therefore we need to accumulate, right? Which is the driving force behind consumer culture, right? Makes us want to buy stuff. When we get hooked into that, it's hard. We get FOMO, we get fear of the future, we get fear of not having enough and all of that, right? Western culture really grew out of a notion of scarcity and also excess, because they're kind of two sides of the same coin, right? Which is where we get the development of empire and colonialism, which basically the process of that was to say, we're going to go into the lands of an indigenous people, and we're going to extract from the people and from the land what you can, leaving those people without enough, but then moving that excess over to a nation state. So Rome was the people who perfected this, right? All roads lead to Rome, and all the money went to Rome from whatever indigenous culture they went and colonized. And so this is a basis that we're still living with 2,000 plus years later, where this legacy of empire has taught us that, you know, if we're not careful, we're going to be the people taken from, we're going to be the people extracted from, and we're not going to be the people who are going to be able to have more than we need, right? And this is where like our unhealthy desire for wealth comes from, hoarding comes from. So the 55 really stands opposed to that, if you will. It says, no, we don't have to live that way. And in fact, People who live close to the land, which is what being indigenous means, is being connected to the land, understand that we are provided for and that we have what we need when we need it. Now, does that mean that we sometimes don't have lean years? No, of course, we can still have lean years, but it does understand that we are in this right relationship with the living world. So this is an awesome time for you to be looking at what's your relationship to this kind of sense of not enoughness, right? This mantra of scarcity, which you can see just like happening all over in media and in culture. What's your relationship to that? And can you find a way to shift that to a deeper sense of, I have what I need when I need to have it, so that you're moving into this present moment and not projecting yourself out into the future where you're afraid that you don't have enough, right? I think if you were to take where you are now and you're like, oh no, but 6 months from now, I won't have what I need. People do this with like retirement all the time. Like, I'm not going to have what I need when I'm like 80. I'm like, yeah, and you're 40. Like, why are you stressing out about that now? It doesn't mean that you can't save her for retirement or if you can't be smart around money. But if you go into fear around that, you're not using your creative energy. You're letting that splenic energy come up. Okay. And you want to watch out for that. So the 55 is saying, hey, be in the present moment. Take a look around right now. Do you have what you need here in this moment? And is it possible that you have what you need when you need to have it? I know for me personally, this kind of mantra has gotten me through some really difficult times where I did go into a state of fear. I have, gates, a number of gates on the spleen lit up in my chart, and I can go into the fear of the future, and then I'm like, okay, wait, dial back. Okay, what does the gate 55 have to say? The 55 is you have what you need when you need it. And so if we can move into a state of gratitude for what we've already received, we can start to feel that abundance, and we can start to unravel the conditioning that we have from the overculture that there isn't enough and that we have to compete with others. So we want to be able to step out of that, because it's kind of a gnarly belief system to be living inside of, right? It creates a lot of anxiety and fear. A really great resource for this is The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. She has a wonderful thesis about enoughness, about how we need to learn how to experience enoughness so that we're neither in scarcity and we're not in accumulation, right? We're in this kind of state of grace that we can step into where we're like, I have enough. There is enough. There's enough for me. There's enough for you. And there's enough for everyone. And we need to start recalibrating ourselves around this understanding that there is enough. There may not be enough of certain substances like precious metals or oil under the ground or a variety of other things like that, right? There are limitations in a physical world in that regard, but there is more than enough food on the planet to feed everybody right now. It's not that we don't have enough food. It's more about how it's distributed, right? Because it lives inside of a market economy. But there's more than enough food for everybody to eat on the planet. So it's our job to start unpacking our belief system around what's enough. Do I have enough? Do I have faith that I'll have what I need when I need to have it? If I don't have that faith, what's in the way? What am I believing instead? Right? And unpack that piece. And that's what the earth is really inviting us into during this transit. It's saying, hey, I'm here. I'm supporting you. There is enough. And you'll have what you need when you need to have it. How would your life change if you were to open up the possibility that you could live with that mantra, that saying, that affirmation being the thing that runs you? It's an idea worth considering. Because this is emotional energy, it needs time. It needs time. Whenever there's emotional energy, you want to just hit the pause button and get clear for yourself. So while this earth is lighting up the 55, it's a good time to pause and really, like I said, take a look at your life. You can look at yourself, historically back through your life, and have you had what you needed when you needed it? right? And then how can you grow this faith inside of yourself that you will? Now, notice that this is in the knowing circuit. So it's highly intuitive. It's not analytical. It's not strategic. So you're not going to get to that place of faith and this resting part of knowing that you'll have what you needed by analyzing the numbers in your bank account. You're not going to get there. It's in a different realm. And it really has to do with the power of your emotional energy and your power of your connection to spirit so that you can be receiving that reassurance that's coming to you through that knowing circuit.